Chairman Ross Layton, Ranking Member Berman, committee members, my name is Dr. Karestan Koenen. I'm an associate professor at Columbia University and an adjunct
Could you
professor.
put the microphone just a little bit closer to your mouth so we can hear you better?
I'm an associate professor at Columbia University and an adjunct professor at Harvard University. I teach about psychological trauma. My understanding of and my passion for the topic are the result both of my education and, unfortunately, my own experience with the Peace Corps. I joined the Peace Corps in 1991. It was clear from the beginning that my country, Niger, was dangerous. Also clear was the Peace Corps staff inadequacy in dealing with the effects of danger on volunteers. For example, 1 week during our in-country training period, several men broke into our site, assaulted 2 male volunteers, and raped a female volunteer. I recall telling my site director that I felt unsafe, but I was told that I was making too much of what had happened. The Peace Corps staff then instructed us not to tell our families about the attacks. The staff's instructions to calm down and keep quiet were the only training we received on how to respond to an assault. Despite the fact that serious crimes had occurred on the training compound, we did not receive any training on how to minimize the risk of assaults or how to report them should they occur. On December 27, 1991, I was forced to learn by experience about the dangers of sexual assault. A Nigerian man held me down, ripped off my shorts and underwear, and raped me. The doctor who worked for the Peace Corps was kind, but neither trained nor equipped to perform a forensic rape exam. No one gave me the opportunity to make a formal statement or to speak with law enforcement. And although the doctor reported the rape to the Peace Corps' country director, he did not visit me, he did not call me. I was soon put on an international flight to Washington, D.C., alone. Upon arriving at Peace Corps headquarters, I was greeted with a cold reception. I was first sent to a male gynecologist. I recall finding the pelvic exam incredibly painful and him telling me to stop being hysterical and to just calm down. I was then sent to speak with a Peace Corps staff investigator who said, "I am so sick of you girls going over there drinking, dancing, and flirting, and then if a guy comes on to you, you say you've been raped." My final straw was when my Peace Corps country director said to me, when I wanted to prosecute, "It's your word against his. He said you wanted to have sex, and we believe him." As an expert in the field of psychological trauma, I know how dangerous an inadequate response to the rape victim can be. Fear of being disbelieved or blamed, as I was by the Peace Corps, is exactly why so many survivors do not report their rapes. The Peace Corps' own data suggests 2 times more assaults occur in the Peace Corps than those that are reported. In addition, over a decade of research has demonstrated that the social support a survivor receives in the aftermath of a trauma highly influences the risk that the victim will develop post-traumatic stress disorder. A negative social response leaves a survivor in a quagmire of self-blame for the rest of her life. I have examined the current sexual assault protocols and policies of the Peace Corps, and though they have evolved since my time of service, they remain dangerously inadequate. Several other experts have reviewed the Peace Corps' 2011 sexual assault guidelines, as I did, and have written letters to the committee expressing their concerns with the policies and their recommendations for change. I'm including these letters for the record as part of my testimony.
Without objection.
The affidavits and letters from other experts make it clear that it's time for a systemic, permanent solution that addresses better training for volunteers, training for in-country staff, and appropriate vetting and accountability for staff in the United States. Of these needed reforms, there are 8 things the Peace Corps could do right away to dramatically increase and improve the care it provided to its volunteers. They are: 1, discontinue the use of Peace Corps' current sexual assault training video called Serving Safely that shows survivors apologizing for endangering themselves and causing their rapes. 2, put victims advocates in every region. I am pleased that the Peace Corps has hired a victims advocate in D.C. But caring for the in-country and post-service needs of what are at least 100 sexual assaults a year is too great a burden for one person to carry. 3, provide travel companions for rape and sexual assault survivors returning home to the U.S. 4, eliminate the harmful and minimizing distinction used in the Peace Corps' own materials to distinguish major sexual assault from minor sexual assault. 5, set up a task force with the Department of Labor to determine how to help survivors get adequate and timely benefits without being forced to re-experience their traumas. 6, enlist the help of outside experts with authority to ensure Peace Corps policies continually reflect best practices. 7, give survivors a choice of treatment providers. And 8, fire the staff and treatment providers who blame victims and harm them. I believe Director Williams to be well-intentioned, but we simply cannot ignore history. The Peace Corps has promised time and time and time again to fix these problems, and it has not. We need Congress. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you about my experience and my hopes for a better, stronger, safer Peace Corps.
Thank you for those recommendations.